Welcome back to our channel and thank you so much for joining us in this another day in the life of living on the autistic edge. Today I'll be sharing with you some tips on how to teach your child or children with autism. Now, these are tips that we have used ourselves right here on the autistic edge. We will not share with you anything that we have not tried for ourselves. So we are giving it to you live from our experience. Things that we have done, adjustments that we have made that will help you to navigate through your journey on the autistic edge. First and foremost, you need to identify the areas of development that you want to have your improvement in. And by doing this, I would hope that you would have already have your assessment done. The assessment is very detailed and will give you recommendations of areas that needs to be developed, like whether it's the speech therapy, imitation, oral, motor skills, and you name it. The assessment is very detailed. Now, I am very much aware that there are quite a number of parents out there, and you watching this may be on a waiting list and still don't know what to do. However, I'm going to share with you here some tips, and these tips I'm sharing with you are tips that you can use at home in the meantime. And remember, this is what our channel is about, sharing our experience and our journey on the autistic edge. Plan your activities. Make sure you are very detailed. Write down, document your activities. What activity you're doing, what is it that you hope to achieve. And I still promise, I think somebody asked me about this earlier, about sharing how I write my lesson plans at home. And yes, I'm going to be sharing that with you in one of our videos to come. And continue to send in the request. I'm getting some requests in terms of what persons would have wanted to see. And this particular presentation is also a special request by a parent who, said why they really don't know what to do, and they have been trying and things not working out. But as I said in previous video, don't give up. Don't give up. Probably you're giving up right at the time when something is about to happen or you're just about to have a breakthrough. Now remember, our son Alex Xavier, he's now 11. And it was just a year and a half ago that we started getting words from him, and we are still working on that. So just imagine, that is quite a long time. But yes, we are still working on it. Now, one activity, you can achieve multiple objectives from one activity. You can be working on various skills in one activity. And as you go through some of our videos that we have done before, I would have at least identified most of them by telling you what is it that we are working on today. Now, your activities should not be forced. So make sure if you're working on the activity and the child seems not to be interested, don't be afraid to take a step back. Do something different, modify the activity. It's okay to modify right on the spot. Nothing is wrong with that. Just be creative, right? Engage your child. Make it a fun play date with your child. When you're doing your little therapy session or your teaching session, just make it fun, that they're learning without even realizing that it's a learning thing for them. They'll just see it as having fun, but they are learning at the same time. Keep them interested and let them be involved. Another thing is be open-minded. Now, and when I say that, be receptive to new ideas. There is no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to these children. Be flexible, be willing to change, be willing to step back. Sometimes when I am working with Alex, things just didn't turn out the way I conceptualized it or the way I wanted it. And in the middle you find that you have to switch around a little bit. For example, in this video here where we were doing the blowing exercise, and we try to do the balloon blow, and while we were working on getting him to blow that balloon, he was just not getting the blowing balloon, and we were trying that before we came on set, and let me tell you, it was getting him a little bit frustrated. But I didn't want him to see it as a frustration. I wanted him to see it as fun, because learning should be fun. So even though we know we're gonna get back at it, we say, okay, let me just try and come up with another way. And it was just right on the spot, you know, like something just said to me, listen, why don't you just tape the balloon around the straw? And yes, I did just that, taping the balloon around the straw. And as you can see here in the video, he was now blowing. He was able to now blow the balloon by using the straw. And guess what? It's called creativity. So you may not set out to do something and you may just not get it, but don't be afraid to change it. Don't be afraid to modify, and to just make sure that it is fun. It's still learning. And remember, we as parents, we don't know everything. We just learn along the way as well. All right? Be willing to learn. Be very willing to learn. We never know everything. And let me tell you something. I never knew anything about autism until our son came along. It was the first time that we were even hearing the name autism. But guess what? It was hard at first, but we took it with a grain of salt, and yes, we jumped right into it. We need to know, what is this about? And we have to learn along. It was a new experience for us, but we were determined to learn it, and we did. Up to a year and a half ago, we knew nothing about speech. We weren't getting really much activities. We weren't getting any help where speech is concerned. We haven't been working with a speech therapist. We have had a not so good experience before with a speech therapist, and then I just decided that there must be some method to this madness, and I just started reading, researching, and coming up with some activities. And I just think about the activities, some of them, they make sense. YouTube is out there, I mean, Google is out there, everything is out there on the internet. Research and try things for yourself, and that is what we have been doing, and we have been getting some tremendous improvement from him, going from no words before until he's now able to say words. And yes, some persons are troubling me that, you know, even when we went to the zoo and I am there trying to help him to say monkey, and the only word I could get was mommy. Never mind, I was honored. He remembered mommy. But I'm planning a comeback to that one, because we are working on the articulation exercise. So we're coming back with that one. I got you, all right? Okay, so don't be afraid to say you don't know. I mean, some persons, they feel a little intimidated to tell people that they don't know. If I don't know something, I just don't know. And when I don't know, that's where my research begins. Because I'm going to be up and I'm going to research what I don't know, because I need to know. And that is what it is about the autism. A lot of parents, yes, I have heard the complaints, I have been there, and telling you all this doesn't mean that it was easy for us. No, it was never easy for us. Our poetry piece at the beginning, if you go back and listen to that dog poet that I've done, that tells you quite a bit of hard experiences that we have gone through. That was just our reality. It wasn't easy. But one thing for sure, in this life here on the autistic edge, giving up are words that are not in our vocabulary. And I think you should adopt that approach too. Put on your teaching cap. Now, as parents, we are naturally inclined to be parents. And what we do as parents, we tend to instruct, we tend to give directive, we tend to want the child to do what they are told. But I would say we are not teachers, we were not born. But you know what? We are the best teachers for our children. Face it, whether you believe it or not. Parents are whoever spend most of the time with their children. Parents, we are the best teachers for our children. So therefore, we have to get into that phase. Try, if it's even to put on a show that you are a teacher. I do that a lot of time because guess what? I am not a teacher. I am an accountant. I don't know nothing about teaching. I've never gone to school about teaching. And yes, I do understand that there are certain areas that there are gifts. Yeah, I do understand that. So not all of us may do have that gift. But try it. But be natural about it. Put on that teaching cap. And let me tell you some tips in putting on that teaching cap. Use every encounter with your child as a learning opportunity. And what I mean is, when the child is doing something, sometimes we tend to want to tell them to stop. So you see them with the knife, go put it down. And you see them take up this, go put it down. Rather than forcing them to put it down, why not use it as a training opportunity or a learning opportunity to teach them how to use it correctly? No, I know you cannot do it with everything. So you can't do it with the stove, you can't do it with the knife. There are some things that you don't want to do it with. But you will know your child, and you will know with your child, in your encounter with your child, you will know what you can trust your child to try. So I have actually started teaching my child how to use a knife, because there was a time when he would just, wherever in the house you hide the knife, he's finding it. And he'll take it to you for peeling oranges and all of that stuff. So what we do instead is teach him how to use the knife appropriately. So therefore, when he sees a knife, rather than take it up to do damage, he will want to use it appropriately. But that doesn't mean that you're going to leave that knife careless. But in saying that, to say, you know your child. So you should know what chances you can take in the learning and development of your child. And when we send our children to school, we expect the teachers to be patient with them. We expect the teacher not to shout at them, even when they are rude. We expect the teacher to plan for them. We expect the teacher to be structured. But let me tell you something. There are some things that as parents, we don't have to be certified educator to do. Let me repeat that. There are some things that as parents, we don't have to be certified educators to be able to do. So being patient with your child, you expect somebody else out there to be patient with your child, then you first need to learn some patience with your child. When you send that child out, whether to stay with some other relatives or let's say at school, and you expect the caregiver and the teachers rather not to shout at them, well, guess what? In the home, sometimes we get agitated and we shout at them and we rush them and we do all kind of stuff. That is where we should try to get that teaching skill. Learn to be patient, and again, plan for them. And as I mentioned before, plan your activities. Yes, plan for your child. Make it an appointment. Be creative with your activity. Plan your activity. Structure your time, and know that as parents, it is busy. It gets overwhelmed sometimes. And if I tell you that it's not overwhelmed a lot of times, I would be lying. No. It's tiring sometimes. Sometimes you don't get sleep. Sometimes you're short of rest. Everything. You name it. Yes, we have been through it. But guess what? As I said before, giving up is not in our vocabulary. And I just want to leave 3 words with you that will take you through your journey on the autistic edge. Patience, persistence, and consistency. Just ensure that you have these 3. A little patience, be persistent, and be consistent with whatever you are doing with your child. These are the few tips that I will leave with you today. Thank you once again for joining us in this another episode of Living on the Autistic Edge. Don't be afraid to check out our other videos that we have right here on our channel, where we have shared with you tips and tricks of how to navigate your journey on the Autistic Edge. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and most of all, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe. Thank you.